What's going on, Chelsea fans? I'm Jan the Statman, and today I'm doing a preview for the Chelsea vs Watford game at Stamford Bridge in the Premier League. This game is hugely important for Chelsea. Well, both two remaining games are, but not least this game against Watford at home. And here's why it could prove to be difficult. Watford have become an impressive force under Javi Garcia, and I think now he's the longest serving manager Watford have had for years, which I know isn't saying much, but he's been very good. Currently in the Premier League, they're in and around that sort of best of the rest bunch, and they've been playing incredibly well. They were also in the FA Cup final, so yeah, performers.
What do you want, a fucking medal?
Basically, Watford are no mugs right now. In terms of league form, both Chelsea and Watford have won 3 of their last 6 games. So, pretty good for Watford, pretty bad for Chelsea. And out of the 11 times they've met in the Premier League, these two clubs, Chelsea have won 7 and drawn 2. So Chelsea have had the better of it out of these meetings.
Everything's going to be okay! Hooray!
But things are changing for Watford, for the better. And out of these two teams, the pressure is all on Chelsea in this game. Chelsea are obviously striving for top 4, while Watford are just sort of coasting to the end of the season now. I mean, they might get 7th, but still, the pressure's on Chelsea. Let's talk tactics. Javi Garcia plays a 4-4-2 with Watford. Now, it's not a passive 4-4-2. They like to play football. They like to have the ball and they like to take it to the opposition. Not a passive side. They have excellent technical players across the pitch, and I'll pick a few out in a moment. But let's start with the strikers, Deeney and Gray. They formed a great strike partnership this season, and they've been pretty lethal. The English forwards boast the strength that's needed in the Premier League, as well as both being able to score goals, be quick, and they know how to wind up defenders. They're Premier League players. Gray can play on the shoulder, break through the lines, split defenders, go on through to a one-on-one. He can also hold up the ball, playing some of their creative players, as can Deeney. Deeney can just create a fucking shit show in the box. So the ball can go up to either of those strikers, and if they're not trying to run through on goal or just link up with each other, they can play in different creative wide men or creative mids and create some combinations, and then, you know, we're in trouble. Sadly, this Chelsea team at the moment are the kind of characters, or certainly look like lately, they're the kind of characters that can buckle against canny centre-forward play, which you can see Deeney and Gray doing. Wind-up merchants.
Mummy! Mummy! Mama! Mama! Mama!
What?
Hi.
So if it's not Deeney getting inside David Luiz's head or Christensen's head, it might just be overwhelming physicality that we don't deal with. And remember, Rudiger's out now, so... But this physicality and sort of wind-up English centre-forward play that they can do is only a very small part of Watford's game. They are an incredibly technical and creative team as well. If you look at the likes of Pereira and Deulofeu, they are very technical, creative players, both of which have scored some fantastic goals this season, Deulofeu and Pereira. I'm talking like really nice goals. Deulofeu in particular lately has been in fantastic form, both in the Premier League and the FA Cup. Again, just look at some of his goals and some of his combination play recently. It's very, very good, and you wouldn't put it past him scoring against Chelsea, let's be honest. So we've got to watch out for these creative and technical midfielders or forward players, because if you don't have Deeney or Gray battering our defensive line, we got to watch out for this technical combinations of, say, Deulofeu and Pereira playing between our defence. So Watford have the creative wide players to take the ball out wide in the final third and do cutbacks and play back in and do sort of combinations to sort of rattle the defence. They have Deeney and Gray, like I said, to just do the more brute force yet still kind of technical side where they can bang goals or just stand on defenders and get inside their heads while other players do the business. But also, Watford have an incredibly interesting central midfield. Let's talk about that. Firstly, Etienne Capoue. Capoue has been excellent in the Premier League for a couple of years now. He's shown great ability on the ball in terms of dribbling and passing. He's got an 85% pass success in the Premier League this season, and he's got 4 goal involvements. And he's very capable of shooting from far out, 30 yards, and putting it in the top corner. which is not good for Chelsea. Defensively, very capable as well. He makes 3 tackles and 3 interceptions per game consistently. He's a very good player. And then there is Doucouré. Doucouré is one of my favourite midfielders in the Premier League, and if he wound up at Chelsea, I would not be upset. He is an absolute tank, and not only can he just drive through midfield, he can boss midfield, receiving passes, releasing them quickly, as well as just driving forwards and being an absolute beast. But the man scores goals. He's got a whopping 11 goal involvements in the Premier League this season, and from Watford that is a very, very good return. He also has an 84% pass success, so he can get involved with the game quite competently, but he can bang a rocket in the top corner from far out, which again is a problem for Chelsea. He's a very, very good player, Doucouré, so you got to watch him. If we're soft in midfield, he will boss us, which could happen, sadly. So Watford have options stylistically. If Garcia sees something's not working against Sarri's system, he will change it. And that could be an issue for us because we know Sarri won't change it. They can use brute force up front, they can play long balls, they can go wide in the final third, and they can absolutely play through midfield if they want to. Okay, so here's a positive. Watford's defence isn't that frightening. Sure, Watford's midfield and attack have been impressive this season, and they've scored 51 goals, which is, really decent for a side like Watford and where they're sitting, and they've had some impressive plays, and some of the goals they've scored have been superb, but they've conceded 52 goals, so yeah, they've got a goal difference of -1. That's the worst goal difference of the best of the rest. So let's look at this positively moving forward in this video. Chelsea can win this game. We need to make sure the likes of Deulofeu and Pereira don't have free reign, and they need to get frustrated in this game. We need to be disciplined, because if we're not disciplined and we play too open, those creative players will do the business. We also need to play the ball fast, so we can get the ball around Doucouré and Capoue quickly, because if they get on the ball, their strength and power and decision making is very good, but we can play around them. And also, when they are in possession, do not afford Doucouré the space outside the box to take a shot on, because he will, and he's very good. That's important. Chelsea need to find their scoring boots again. This is the last home game of the season. It's winnable. This is an opportunity for Chelsea to impress Stamford Bridge one last time this season, at least in the Premier League, with some Sarri ball. Get out! Some impressive attacking football that they displayed early doors this season. They can do it again in this game. I don't think Watford will sit in a defensive low block. I think this will be an opportunity for Chelsea to outplay the opponent and play some attractive football, hopefully. For me, the striker situation is important. Obviously, Giroud would be the best option for this game because Hazard needs to shine in this game. This could be Hazard's last home game at Stamford Bridge in the league. That is sad. So for him to play his best, it would be better for Giroud to be there to play the combinations with, and Hazard can do the business. Although I think Giroud's going to play in the Europa League. Now that's frustrating, but I kind of understand. We're at the business end of that competition now. He's the top scorer and it's an important competition for us. So it's at the point where you'd sort of understand why Giroud plays in that competition and Higuain comes in for the Watford game. Higuain, oh man, I used to love this striker. What the bloody hell's happening? Anyway, I know we only got 1 point at Burnley, but he goes from having an excellent performance there in terms of generally how he played, to that game at Man United. Ugh, I'm not going to talk about that. So yeah, Higuain will probably play in this game.
No, God! No, God, please, no! 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 No!
And that's a problem for combining with Hazard. But hopefully he can, we all know Higuain can score a fantastic goal. So let's all cross our fingers and hope he does it in this game. Or cross our fingers and hope Giroud plays in this game and plays in all the games. I don't know. Higuain, play well. In regards to Watford's really strong midfield, Loftus-Cheek would be a really useful player here. He only managed, 20-30 minutes last time out. I don't know if he's going to start in Europa, but he would be a great asset in this particular game, and I think we'd need him. I can't really call it though. It's that time of the season where we're in 2 competitions that are really important and you just don't know what the coach is going to do and who he's going to play in. Watford are a strong opponent, but they play in such a way that should allow Chelsea to play our own game, and we can win because of that. Even though they're a strong opponent and they could do something in this game, Chelsea should be able to win this. It's a good Watford, but it's still Watford at home. Come on, Chelsea. I tell you what, I think we're going to win 3-1. positive, right? I think we'll go 2-0 up, we'll concede a goal because they do have quality Watford, but then the fans will back the team, we'll score one more goal, and it will be a lovely end to what hopefully should be an entertaining game. How do you think the game's going to go? Comment down below, let me know your thoughts, I'll be interested in reading them. If you enjoyed this content, why don't you check out my channel, Jan the Statman. I talk about the stats and analysis of football, the numbers of players and teams, yada yada yada. Similar stuff to this, come and check it out. Up the Chelsea, enjoy the football.